Next in the sequence is Raubex. That's interesting because Raubex is much newer. Well, it's relatively new. It was established in 1974 by a fellow called Koos Raubenheimer out in Bloemfontein. But it's new in the sense that it's new on the market. It only listed in about 2007 or thereabouts. It was one of the sterling performers in what was quite a substantial listing boom back then. Most of the other companies that listed in that environment have all gotten fried, carried out backwards on a stretcher. A couple of them are still limping along on the market on life support, but they're like tiny caps. This one is the star by far. It's got a market capitalization of 2.9 billion rand. It's always had fabulous margins, and we'll go into why that might be. The price to earnings ratio is only 7.18, so it's not as though it's getting a massive benefit of the doubt for its earnings quality. Dividend yield of 4.68. It's expanded its business, it's moved into related activities, it's expanded geographically, so it's operating all over Southern Africa. So, I mean, this is some company that's doing well, right?
Yeah, I think if you look at it, its standout division is really its materials division. So, it's obviously, it's got the resurfacing and the road.
So that's Raubex, and they bought Tosas from Sasol, so they've got the tar supply.
Yeah, exactly. But that's where the real, that you were talking about those operating margins. I mean, it's coming in at an operating margin of about 10%. The rest of the construction sector is probably working on, 1.5 to 3% operating margin. So
is that what it's all about?
That's
what fattens things up.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, there, you look at it, I think it works out to, I've got it here somewhere, but it's about 20, I think it's 20% of revenue, but it's about 67% of operating profit. So you can see that's really the division.
And it was interesting that Sasol should want to sell that, because you long heard, remember when they were finishing off the Gauteng ring ahead of the World Cup, they were saying we would have resurfaced the roads except for there's no tar. It's like, which is obviously a byproduct of the oil industry, but if you've got that critical ownership, that's a great thing to have.
No, definitely. And I mean, you mentioned that the lack of it, that was another thing that came up in their results, that it was one of their aggregate plants actually shut down unexpectedly, but that's now through the system as well. They've got good contracts coming up with Sanral, like they're also pitching higher.
Just let me stop you for a minute. Can one have a good contract with Sanral? Is that a good party to be in? No, seriously, because
if you're a road construction, you kind of have to.
It is actually fine. Yeah. So what you're saying is Sanral have been quite good. They've got their own funding problems, but they've been quite good in terms of paying for the actual road infrastructure.
And that's it. I mean, if your primary business is building and resurfacing roads, Sanral unfortunately is going to be one of your partners.
Yeah. And that is quite a hot potato in many provinces, not only the Free State. So there's the share chart. So again, that one looks similar to Wilson Bailey's share chart, not disastrous, and actually holding up fairly well in what is really admittedly a bit of a tough environment. Getting the benefit of the doubt, looking a little bit better. Management seems good too. I mean, Koos Raubenheimer, the founder, has been succeeded. He's got a son, Louis, who's coming up through the business, but the current CEO is Rudolf Fourie, and it also always had quite presentable guys that did well on their investor relations presentations.
Yeah, it seems so. I mean, just to go back to that chart for a second, looking at that chart, I don't know, I look at it and I go, that's just something sick. It's not quite the collapse you've seen in other, but definitely in a downtrend at the moment.
Not showing much appeal.
Yeah, I'm not, that just looks
that's
like
a 5-year chart.
A temporary uptick in a very clear trend. I mean,
so how are you going to call it? You're going to give this one the go or not?
Oh, it's difficult to say. I think again, earnings quality. It's delivered good cash generation over the period. The operating metrics are slightly better on it. Charles saying steer clear. This sector hasn't turned yet, but if I have to go hot on a second one, I'll probably go hot Raubex. Yeah.
I'm going to join you on that because I don't also want to be Mr. Negative here. So let's go hot on Raubex. That tells the story.